Hey guys, what's up? It's coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. And today, yet again, we are trying the early idea. So we're sitting in the car, and I'll be leaving in about 2 minutes, but we can definitely get some extra content in here. So I figure it's a good way to try to maximize and squeeze in what I can. I think things have recently been going pretty well, all things considered. I can't say that I'm overly too upset, if that makes sense. Things have been chill, things have been pretty nice, and I don't know, for some reason I've been interacting with GPT a little bit more in a more positive way. I finally have my music, the Neutron player, which allows me to speed up and slow down music, which is really a godsend. I don't really know how I could ever listen to music without a good quality tempo control. Because, I just don't know how that would ever be possible. And so, I don't know. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But that's where we're at. Ooh, what was that? That did not sound good. Alright, well, we gotta get ready to clock out. I'm kind of pushing it now. I'm getting a little bit distracted and too silly. Yeah, starting the car. Oh man, now it's giving me issue. Like, seriously. What is going on? Alright, good. Just a weird temporary glitch. Nothing crazy. Alright. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess somewhat of a clarity is coming over me. I mean, as time has gone on, things have made more and more sense. I think it's a balancing act, right? Where you really need to be in the material, yet not really care about it simultaneously. I think that's kind of a super important thing for me to figure out, because when I was a teenager and kind of the beginning of my spiritual awakening, it was very immaterial. Like, I didn't really have too much faith in things. And that culminated with some interesting times. I mean, I didn't have a job for a while. And of course, it's my biggest regret by far, is because really, I mean, if I had just had a job, instead I was lost. Honestly, I was just lost. I don't really know what I accomplished or what I really gleaned from there. But I guess you might not notice it. I mean, the ways I processed things or the ways I thought about things may just not have came to fruition yet. Or like it might be subconscious in the way that I process things. I don't know. I feel like not everybody has a very productive adolescence, and it's not that crazy. It's kind of crazy. It's pretty stupid, but I don't think it's that crazy, if that makes any sense. I mean, maybe it is, and maybe it's all just cope, but I think it's better to rationalize it at this point since it's in the past. I don't know. I did try out a better version of that idea, that car rides witch law idea that I had, of when I have something pop into my mind, just record it in addition to transcribe it into GPT, because I usually just transcribe into GPT. Now, there are some apps that apparently do both, which I think is pretty interesting. Like, it's obviously good that I could get like an audio recording and a text transcription copy of what I had just spoke at the same time. I think that's really productive, because then I can just copy paste the text into GPT. I don't have to use the GPT transcription, because for me, the GPT transcription, it always ends up, you have to have an internet connection. So I'd have to use it on a phone that, like, I don't know. It just, if I can find, because I did look it up. I looked up the app, but I did not find it. What am I saying? I didn't get it. They were two paid apps. One was $5, one was $22. I didn't get it yet, but we're definitely looking into it. So I think in time I'm going to end up getting it. And yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just a little bit confused, I guess. There's no way there's actually traffic. What? Is this actually how it is? I couldn't even. What? There's no way. I wasn't even, there wasn't even a speck of doubt or a speck of a chance that this would happen. I have to check my phone. Like, this is actually crazy that there would be traffic now. I guess Fridays are just that weird. You know? I guess they are. It's not saying there's traffic, but there's still definitely, wow. I just was not expecting that. Whatever. I guess it is what it is, but that's like very, I just think you can't win on Friday. I think ultimately that is the moral of the story, is that you can't win on Friday. That's like, I don't know, that's just how it goes. You can't win on Friday. That's so ridiculous, though. I can't even, I don't even understand. I don't understand. But whatever. Again, what can you do? What can you do about it? I'm not going to do anything about it. Back to, what were we saying? Sorry for the sidetrackedness. That's an interesting, I don't think that's a word, but I'm just going to say it. Sidetrackedness. It's an interesting thing. What I didn't like is I did like a lot of, I was doing an awful lot of filler words. So I don't, maybe it's something I've just been lazier about recently, and it's very frustrating to communicate in that way, because I should be better than that. But like I said, kind of for a while, I've really been in a speaking funk. So I don't even have any energy to pour an ounce into anything else. Like, even just, work on reducing the fillers. Like, at first I was all fired up. I had that manic charge, but I don't have that anymore. So that manic charge is long gone, and as a result, it's like, it's just not a good situation at all. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on, I guess. I don't know what else is there to say. But there was a good amount of filler. I think it was also partially, it's another thing I'm going to have to get used to, because I'm used to just transcribing into GPT. But I think once I get an app that just does it all in one place, that's going to be a lot better. And sadly, even though the iPhone 16 Pro Max really hyped up the studio mics with the wind resistance, there was still plenty of wind, like totally audible. So I don't really see how that's working out. I definitely should get an external mic I can just plug into something. You know, I definitely think that it would probably be worth my while. So we're going to work on that. But like I said, the text thing, I think it makes a lot of sense because... Oh wait, I forgot to do this. I might as well do this, especially since there's so much traffic. The text thing would be much more seamless, right? So that's kind of... I mean, that's how I feel about it. It would just be a lot more seamless. Because it would all be done in one place. You know what I mean? And I would just have the text, I could just paste it into GPT very easily. So that's kind of the idea. And I think it will be a lot more seamless and probably a lot less filler. Probably a lot less filler, because I'll just get used to it. So it's kind of exciting. I think I just need to get one of those apps, hopefully one that is on iOS and Android, just so I can use it, you know, on anything. We will look into it further, I think. Maybe over the weekend, but also maybe just next week. I'm not in too much of a rush, but like I said, the format, and it was about a 7-minute clip of me talking. I guess I'm just gonna, I guess I'll briefly go over the concept, because again, it's kind of repetitive, because there's obvious, if I post it as a 7-minute thing, and then, yeah, if I post it as a 7-minute thing, and then I'm like repeating the same thing today, that's kind of weird, you know. But that's what I'm gonna do. Basically, it's and I've talked about this before, the unsolicited advice thing. It just happens so easily for me because it's just the way that I converse. I mean, if something comes up in a conversation, I just find the answer, and then people get mad at me, you know, and then and it's like, I don't understand. Like, if there's a dispute and I know the right answer and I end up giving a correct answer because the other person, you know, didn't know the right answer, then now they're like complaining, like, oh, why did you look it up? it's so weird to me. Why is that so weird to me? I always wanted to learn and to know things. Like, always. I don't think in my entire life I ever told somebody, "Oh, I wish you hadn't have told me that." Like, I don't think I ever said that. I could be wrong. Maybe it had happened at some point in my life, but there's no reason for it. Like, I don't know. This person, like, honking me a lot, and I don't know why. These people are just crazy, because there's, like, a jam up ahead as well. Anyways, this person, what I was about to say, because I was having a little more respect for this person behind me, but the person who had passed me, they, like, the side of their car was all smashed up. So it's like, go figure, I don't understand. It's like, and then this other guy was, like, really on my tail, like, the entire time for no reason. It's just, I don't understand. And I'm actually driving, like, very correctly, because there's, like, I was not holding anybody up. Really, like, I was really driving, like, very properly. I was not doing anything silly. You know what it was proper driving. But yeah, the one guy who passed me, it was like an older Nissan Maxima, not super old, but not the latest one. Probably maybe the one before the latest, although I could be wrong, because I know that latest Maxima, they actually had that design for a long time, I think. So it may have been the one before the latest, but the whole side of the car was smashed. So it's like, yeah, go figure, you're doing a bunch of nonsense. The other guy, I actually couldn't tell what he was driving. I believe it was a Hyundai, and it was probably, my best guess is some new electric Hyundai. But again, it's dark out, so I can't really tell, but I think I'm correct, and if I look that up and look at it, I would remember the headlights, like what it was. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, like, ridiculous people, because I was actually driving, like, very properly. It's just like, yeah, I wasn't tailgating the guy in front of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, as he was tailgating me. I don't know. I guess it's just Friday and people are crazy, but I have to remember that about Friday. I really have to remember that about Friday. Friday can just be like an awful day for coming home traffic. And that just, it doesn't make that much sense. I mean, maybe I have to cut really early, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just chilling though, as usual. I think it's very important. Remember, I said it just not too long ago. My dad always told me, don't be in a rush. I think it's pertinent that he told me that, and I've remembered it specifically. Of all the advice, and there's still times in my life where I rush, and it's like, I just think back to that, like, and I think there was a reason why he said that. Like, there was definitely a reason. It's always good for me to go slow. I can be fast. I definitely, like, I'm not stupid, and I'm not imprecise, but yeah, I'm kind of going too fast because there's it's like a super long clog here. Yeah, my phone said, oh yeah, you're going to be home in 38 minutes. I don't believe that for a second. But yeah, I was going way too fast. I wasn't really thinking about... I mean, I still stopped the car fairly reasonably, but used a lot of brake when I didn't need to. But, I mean, still better than how most people drive. But yeah, there's got to be a reason for that. There has to be a reason for why after all this time, all that stuff just stuck with me. I don't know. There has to be a reason for it. There just has to be. And yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I'm feeling pretty okay about things. Pretty okay about things. I think there's a lot of development going on. There's a lot of frustration, but there's definitely some development. I'll really have to remember this though about like because I would have just stayed later. Well, probably not this week because as you guys remember, I had exactly the same clock times for the whole week. So, yeah, I mean, pretty cool, but actually, I might as well not shift because I had it in auto, but it's just going to keep cycling between 1 and 2. That's kind of a waste. I mean, it's going to use some fuel, but it's probably not bad for the car to just get some RPM up because yeah, it's still not, I mean, it's burning a little bit of gas, but as long as it's not above 3, I think it's pretty healthy for the engine. You know, and even at 10 mile per hour, it's still 2.5. So, because in auto, it's just going to keep cycling. It's going to go from, you know, first to second like a million times, and that's probably just better for the car to get some higher RPM driving in, since I'm usually driving it pretty low. But of course now I'm saying this and now it's like super obvious that like now I needed to shift. Luckily the person behind me is chill now though. Isn't that nice? Nice for a change. But yeah, I just, I don't know how to explain it. Because the materialism, it's like, I am really getting to the point where I don't even know. The whole like latest tech thing, I still want the latest tech, but I agree that the 16 Pro Max really is, I mean, it's really spectacular. And I think the 17 Pro Max is probably like just that much more spectacular, especially because you can get it in 2 terabytes of storage, which is like, that's pretty endgame. The RAM is at 12 gigabytes instead of 8. That's also very endgame. And the CPU is just a little bit better, and the modem seems to be really good at fringe range stuff. So it seems like that's really more the, you know, true end game. But again, I'm kind of holding off on it. Like I said yesterday, I'm very interested in the Air now, but I don't want to make any hasty decisions, and it's completely unnecessary. I wonder though if for the Air, maybe I should just buy it through Apple instead. I mean, I usually hunt for things on eBay, but or Boost Mobile just to push the sales, because I know it's sold so poorly and I really feel bad. I really would like to get it because I love the concept of the iPhone Air, and I don't use much battery. You know, it's I mean, really all I do with the phone at this point is YouTube, GPT, music, and Discord. You know, so it's not anything that's using a lot of battery. So for me, the Air is perfect because I don't need any. There's no thermal issues, you know, and it's I'm very interested in the Air, and I've been trying to get anybody I know to buy it, but people just don't like it. But I'm definitely, see, I was going to merge, but this person's being a little bit, I don't know, but we're getting in. Good. But yeah, it's like, honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with the tech that I have right now. That's kind of the thing. You know, I'm pretty happy with it, I think. And it's for the first time in my life I've really felt that I'm probably here. You know, that's probably it. Like I said, I think the 17 Pro Max is like a true end game, but I think the 16 Pro Max is like 90% there. I really, you know, I think there'd be minor upgrades with the like, you know, kind of rounding out the reception issues, which the 16 Pro Max really doesn't even have any. Like, I barely ever encounter reception issues, but I'm saying, I'm sure with the 17 Pro Max it would just be a lot better. Even the iPhone Air, it appears, could be better. Hold the phone. Let's get into what I actually wanted to talk about. So what I actually wanted to talk about was this unsolicited advice thing, and how it always comes up. So, like, it's like I have to aggressively not do it. And I'm never trying to give advice. I just love the exchange of information. And something I thought of today that is sort of an interesting tidbit is that is true. I mean, I don't think I've ever told somebody, you know, I don't want to hear that. Of course, unless it's something gross, because yeah, I'm not into like edgy stuff or, you know. But I mean, like, if somebody's giving me a piece of information, I've never told the person, I know I'm repeating, I already said this in the episode. I've never told the person, oh, don't tell me that. I've just never done that. And I think it's telling. And the other thing is, I either accept what the person says, or if it's wrong, I'll engage in a conversation. You know, either like a civil argument or something. And usually the other person's wrong, and then just ends up making up some random nonsense. Like, a lot of people, I think, need to relearn what an opinion and a fact is, because it seems like that is kind of a problem. Like, a lot of people just give me this, like, word vomit of, like, oh, well, you know, some people just, like, and it's just like, dude, nobody has time for, like, the amount of people that just, their ability to process facts and opinions is so poor. I can just not understand. I mean, I remember in my elementary school, they did some morning announcements thing. And I remember it a lot. Now, they eventually kind of, I think they might have got lazy, but they did this morning announcement thing. And I remember it so clearly. And I think I really appreciate that, like, that was at my elementary school. And I remember, like, that was one of the lessons. One of the lessons was, like, there would be, I think, a daily fact or opinion. And so it would help you learn the difference between a fact and an opinion. And I always remembered that. And I learned, I don't know, like, I guess some people just blew it off or didn't even really register. Because it seemed, yeah, people really have such a hard time. Food especially, I think so many people, it's just like such a disaster to talk to them about food. Because for me, despite my aversion to vegetables, which honestly at this point, I don't even know if I would say that, because I've tried raw spinach and I actually like it. I just don't eat it because I've heard it has a lot of anti-nutrients in it, the carnivore side of things. But I'm saying if someday I was back into spinach again, I liked it. It was good. But, besides that, food never really fazed me. Like if somebody told me, oh, you should eat this, like I just think we should eat whatever's optimal. But I mean, so many people, there's just so many mental like blockages where it's like they have to eat something different. They have to, they get bored eating the same thing over and over. Oh, they just can't do it. They feel this, they feel that. What? I mean, it's the most confusing and frustrating thing to me. And so it's very difficult to talk to people about food because people don't understand nutrition well at all. Like, they don't really understand nuances to food. The thing that I tend to bring up a lot that people don't know is how ice cream is very different than like a lot of desserts. And a lot of people will just blanket statement, oh, ice cream's a dessert. It's just a snack. Just like cookies, just like cake. And it's like, no. Ice cream and cake are super different. Ice cream is like a very complete meal. You have protein, fat, and carbohydrate, and you're getting B12 and a lot of other essential vitamins and minerals because it has milk in it. So it's a very complete food, actually. And then a lot of people eat pasta or, bread heavy things, and they think that that's a complete meal when it isn't. And so I'm like enlightening people all the time that it's like, ice cream actually has a lower glycemic index than pasta. And a lot of people would think that pasta is healthier than ice cream, when I would say it's like basically the same thing. So that's why I just cut it out, because if I am going to have sugar, it's from ice cream only. You know what I mean? And I think I'm still healthier than a lot of people just because I don't have any bread. Whereas it's like before, I can't even believe I would eat like that, because I used to live off pasta just because it's like what I knew. I don't know. People acted like that was a meal, and it's like after a bowl of pasta, then you have like a bowl of ice cream, and it's like that. There's no way that is good. You know what I mean? But if I skip that and I'm only having my beef and eggs, and then I have ice cream with it, I don't really think that's. It's just not that much of a. I don't know. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. Or even like pizza with the crust and then ice cream afterwards, like that. It's crazy. But that's just how we eat, because people, their comprehension of things is so poor. And I've learned that now because of how seriously I've decided to take nutrition and learn about how these things work, and know, like, ice cream is not just sugar, and it's not at all the same as cake or cookies, which are intrinsically more worse. I think pretty objectively, like, I think the things like cannoli or ice cream, the creamy things that I like, they're some of the healthier desserts, really. So, but anyways, yeah, I mean, see, even now, like, I'm talking about this not to be annoying, not to give advice. I'm not trying to give advice to who's ever listening right now. This is just what comes up. Like, I'm just talking. That's just what I'm doing, And there's not there's not really much else. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to give advice. Nobody asked for it, but this is my fun conversation. This is something I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know why I have to explain it, but apparently I do to other people. And that was something, I think GPT explained it very well. There's basically this like subconscious gut reaction for people to get defensive. And that's just what it is. And it's basically that most people operate at a very, very low level, even if they're materially in a high position or something. And they operate at a really low level with their ego. And I'm realizing this now because I really see the good in people, and I tend to really want to prop people up. But I have to start to realize now, like, a lot of times I'm projecting onto void people, soulless ones, and it's just because of me and how much energy I think I radiate. I see people as better than what they are, if that makes any sense. And it might be a little bit complicated to explain that concept, but it's the truth. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I see people as better than who they are. And I notice it when I talk to people. I mean, I've always had this, I've said this before on the show, but I guess it's worth repeating. I've always had this, like, I feel like when I talk to people, I just automatically, it's like the highest form. And then when they talk to someone else, it's like they're just saying the raunchiest jokes, the yuckiest things. That's like the only, people try to mess with people, all kinds of just total nonsense. I've always noticed this for years now. For years, people just act very differently around me, and I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why. I think it's because we all kind of have energy, and you sort of shift based on who you talk to, but I've noticed that distinctly. It's just that I think for a lot of people it's not desirable. Like, they don't want somebody like me in their life. They like the people who are popular are the people who really strike a balance of listening and validating, oftentimes things that maybe shouldn't even be validated, whereas I've got better at trying to, but I mean, if it's someone I'm really close with, maybe but it's very difficult for me to validate things that just don't make any sense. And I think sometimes popular people lie just to, because then it feels good. And I don't really care for social interaction that feels good. If that's the only premise, that's the problem, is when your whole social interaction should not revolve around humor. It's just, we should be way past humor as a species, you know what I mean? It's crazy to me that would even be close to a focal point of human. I mean, it's like, I think, and this is another thing I thought of today. I've thought of this multiple times. I think there will be plenty of time to joke. It's just that right now there's very big issues with the system. So I think humanity needs to pause with like the humor and making jokes and the entertainment. Pause. Let's fix the system. Let's go through to the businesses and fire some CEOs, fire some of these higher ups, redistribute things, scan people for better, and also take some money from these people too. You could easily snatch their 401k, and I don't think the world would be a worse place. And then redistribute and reallocate to the people who more likely deserve it. Do that. Fix the political system. Get people in there who are doing good things, and figuring out the right laws and rules and all that stuff. And I don't really need to get too into it, do I? But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's what needs to happen, and then I think I would feel fine. Like once things are okay, then I'll start to brighten up. Then it's like, okay, yeah, now we can joke. We can joke a little bit, but there's so many problems. Like, let's actually spend time fixing them. But I'm assuming, again, most people, their psyche is just not there. Like, it's not even to even go as far as it's probably only a minority of people who can get that far, and I don't know, like, I really do try, but it's just crazy to me. But I'm kind of starting to figure things out. I mean, starting to think more about things, and it's okay. Things are okay right now. I feel like I've just grown so much as a person, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, it has been a pretty amazing journey. So, I don't know, just again, like I just said this, but the past 2 years really have rocked the boat. They've really rocked the boat for sure. But I don't know. Again, I mean, I'm at a better point than I've ever, I never thought I'd make it this far. Maybe when I was really young I did, but my hope just got completely dashed at a certain point. And it's finally coming back, like a little bit. I think it's pretty good. So, super happy. Well, I don't even know why I said that. I don't know if I'm super happy. Let's not. I don't know about all that, but no, I don't know why. Because again, things have been pretty bad. I'm kind of getting lazy in some regard, and yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, right? It's like, yeah, I've kind of gotten a little bit lazier. What can you do? But again, I mean, compared to a lot of people, I know my routine's still pretty good. I'm going to hopefully run tomorrow morning because, yeah, I want to keep that going every, like, weekend, I think super cool routine. I think we'll get to weightlifting eventually. My elbows aren't bothering me as much. I think finally there's some chillness with that, so that's good. Maybe in time I will be able to start lifting weights, because if I overcome that, I think I'm really going to be in a much better headspace. So, just hard. Again, aerobic's easy for me. Anaerobic is not easy at all. I don't know why I'm like that, but yeah, I guess I don't really have too many words. I guess to try to squeeze in, the other thing I noticed is today I lost something at my job, and I told my boss, like, I don't know where I put it. And then him and my coworker, they all kind of laughed and joked about it, like they were chill. And I realized something, like, when when people make mistakes or weird, like, people like that, because it's like human. And so when you see flaws in other people, or when you present flaws, people really like it. Of course, to a degree. You don't want to be like having problems all the time, but somebody who occasionally has a problem, I think, is admired so much more. And there's an issue with that because that is not compatible with capitalism at all. And it causes some of the issues that we see, because really, for capitalism to work properly, you'd have to have a human species who does not feel more comfortable with imperfection, but instead feels more comfortable with perfection. And in a lot of cases, I actually feel better knowing that somebody else is more competent. I don't really get offended or anything. Like, it makes, especially if it was at my job, like, I wouldn't really think it's funny if somebody lost something. Like, to me, that's like, so I'm kind of wired like way differently in that regard. But I think maybe it's something I've sort of realized but never put my finger on. And then downstream of that, it's like, yeah, you purposely want to be kind of stupid. Not too stupid, but you want to kind of just act like you're a little bit dumber than you are. It's very strange, but again, I think somebody who occasionally makes some mistakes is going to be more well-liked than somebody who never does. But of course, the person who always does is not well-liked, because then that's just like not, yeah, it's just not. Then when it becomes too often, it's just crazy. But I never thought about it like that, but it's what I don't like about the world. And I know I've touched on this before, because there's, psychological tricks to make more friends and to be cooler. Like, this is how you have to. I just don't. I don't know. And I've thought about it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong for that. Like, maybe I should get into that and use my brain power to really try to, like, yeah, you should try to, but I just don't like doing that. Like, I don't want anything to do with inauthenticity. And even when I'm like making my first job resume, I'm all like, that's kind of a lie. Like, that's kind of stretching it. Not realizing most people on their resumes, like, they're selling it up. They're just like faking a bunch of stuff. And for my job description, it was very official and serious. But then actually working the job, it's oh my gosh, like they made it seem like so crazy, but like, and I feel like it's always like that. Like, the job description is very serious and like making you seem like you're not going to be good enough, and then the actual job is like not, it's like easy. Like, that's how it is most of the time. I feel like the only time it's like not easy is if it's like irritating. All right, well, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So see you, schla.